Hey guys, so today I need to go ahead and do a weight loss update. It's been a minute. I will say first and foremost, definitely the weight loss has slowed down in morbid obesity. Um, so I want to go ahead and talk about it. But we made it. We made it to 110. It has been crazy this year, like absolutely crazy, because I think each step I take along this path, I'm always surprised. There's, at least this year, at least like this spring, especially in summer, I've been very surprised for it to continue. Because as I told you guys a long time ago, every pound I lose at this point is the lowest I've ever been as an adult. Like, this is all foreign territory. This is all new. Every step I take is new now. And I was looking over my weight record, and I was actually at the end of January, I was 305. So I'm now 273. So I've lost about 32 pounds of fat in 2024. Now remember, I did regain like 10 pounds of fat in November of 2023. So I'm a little worried. But I'm very cautiously optimistic about this autumn. I think I'm in a different category now. I think being out of super morbid obesity, I might have a shot. I'm going to talk a bit more about my autumn strategy later. But my waist right now is 36 inches. So that's crazy. Weirdly enough, that's not actually, I don't think that's, no, that is the lowest it's been. Holy crap. Yeah, there's a lot going on. So I'm definitely on the cusp of something in terms of my health journey. This is a time when I'm really close to being out of morbid obesity. My body fat percentage today is 35.6. And to get out of morbid, I need to get below 35. So if I get to 49.9, I'm no longer morbidly obese. My body is shifting a lot. My hormones are changing, as you guys have heard. I've talked about it. My hair is falling out. It still is. And I want to talk about some of what I'm doing in regard to that too. But the overall feeling I have at being at this weight is, honestly, it's just surreal. A lot of it is surreal. Unlike last year, though, when I was very scared of uncharted waters and I was nervous, I'm not really nervous. I think the biggest thing that's happened mentally this year is my mind has opened up so much in a lot of different ways. Like, I find things to be easier, even socially at times. I'm still very Poindexter, but I can still try. And last year, it's hard to explain, but in my weight loss last year, it was so much hormonally, and I was so deeply introverted. It was like I couldn't even try things. Like, I remember two of my friends, they wanted to kind of meet over the phone and do like a three-way call. And for some reason last year, which I don't even understand it anymore, I didn't want them to because I was nervous about what they would say or if they would offend each other or something stupid. It doesn't even make any sense looking back on it. But I think it just goes to show that kind of stifled closed-mindedness of supermorbid obesity, how it affects you mentally. And it's gone because the opportunity came up and I was like, let's just do it. Kind of just did it spontaneously. Nothing went wrong. I don't even know what I was thinking, right? But it's that kind of flexibility that I never really had. I don't have nearly as much shame as I did a year ago. I have described how I believe weight loss increases serotonin and it increases feelings of shame. So I think when a lot of fat activists talk about feeling ashamed of their bodies or they talk about hating themselves or all these different things in weight loss, I think there is a chemical reason for that I don't think is really explored all that much. But I will continue to talk about it. Remember, these videos are They are exploratory in nature. These are theories and ideas that I have at the time. But I've noticed my serotonin and stuff, it's not as bad. It's fine. So my social anxiety is just drastically less. I don't even know how to explain it. So I think a lot of times when fat activists say like, oh, I was ashamed, or oh this, or oh that, they're not going far enough or long enough in the journey for it to improve. A lot of stuff in weight loss, and my mom is learning this. My mom is currently losing weight. She's doing pro-thyroid protocol in combination. She is taking Ozempic for diabetes, and the combination seems to work. She's lost about 13 pounds of fat over the summer, gained 1 pound of muscle because I've been pushing her to go to the gym, and she did. But she's experiencing a lot of these serotonin symptoms that I was experiencing, and she's experiencing a lot of the obsession, spiraling, depression, anal retentive qualities, I don't know how else to say it, and in some ways shame too. So I mean, it's something that I'm able to observe in other people too. I think the more emotional you are, the more pronounced it will be. But these things, they do pass. And I just told her, I'm like, look, it sucks. It's painful. Being super morbidly obese is horrible. My mom is still super morbidly obese. Like, it's awful. It's awful if you stay that big. It's awful to lose. It's so hard. It's like, but you just gotta keep going, and it'll just get easier with time. And I'm here to say it's gotten easier. You know, that's one thing that I will continue to say, that I know it pisses off a lot of people, probably because they're not losing weight correctly, or they're in a toxic, ritualistic mindset, but it gets easier. The further I get away from super morbid obesity, the easier it is to handle the weight loss. I've had some episodes of body dysmorphia and even self-hatred, but it's so much less, and it's so short. It's like an hour, maybe tops, every 2 weeks. I mean, it used to be like daily. You know, when I was losing last summer, for almost all of July and August, I completely hated myself, and I was completely ashamed of everything I had ever done and all this crap. And oh, there goes my glasses. It was just awful. You know, it was a horrible experience. But this summer, it was nothing in comparison. Being out of super morbid obesity and losing weight, it was absolutely nothing. There were still physical side effects and issues, but it was so much easier. It's so much easier. I feel drastically less shame. Like I said, I have social flexibility that I didn't have. I don't care about what my audience thinks nearly as much as I used to. You know, I had a lot of audience capture a year ago. I don't now. I don't care anymore. I don't feel the need to prove myself or argue things or be competitive with others. And, you know, I'm not as obsessed with status and all these things that I felt a year ago in my weight loss journey, that I do think a lot of fat activists do touch upon. And I think it's important to acknowledge it, but it's also important to acknowledge that it ends, that it's a hormonal process within losing weight from a super morbidly obese place. You know, that's especially pronounced in emotional people, because emotional people are sensitive to their own feelings. And I don't think it's natural for emotional people like myself, or, you know, to a certain extent my mom, or a lot of these fat activists, I don't think it's natural for us to be hyper competitive and status conscious. I don't think that that's how we're meant to be. You know, I think there are people who are meant to be that way, but I think for those of us where we become that way due to super morbid obesity and paranoia and all these things, I mean, I've seen so many things in fat acceptance, you guys, over the past year. You know, I've done it a lot. I've experienced a lot of things like that. You know, people talking about being on the defense all the time, or taking the offense because you're paranoid that somebody's going to say something about you or something to you. I felt all these things throughout my weight loss journey. I felt all these things within hypothyroidism, within super morbid obesity. It has created so many problems, more than I can even account for in this one video. But to have all that going away and not really giving a shit anymore, not having any feuds with anybody from my past, or feeling the need to brag or just certain things like this that I used to feel. Like there's sometimes I want to brag a little bit, just a touch, but it's more so just sustained fat acceptance rhetoric because of the harm that they continue to do. That is still relevant, and it's a lot. Like I think about the activistic side a lot too, because I feel like all I want is I want the message to be heard loud and clear. And so the ways that I talk about it, I'm more focused on that. So if you guys have noticed a shift, it's more so just because I'm trying to be as clear as I can, and I want to be as effective as possible in an activistic sense. So that's why I'm not as witchy. The witch is still there, trust, but I'm not as witchy, and I think part of that is because I'm not, I'm getting out of morbidity here. I feel a lot less bitter, and I don't know what else to say. Like, there are times when I think about my life now and I think, gosh, I'm not that bad anymore. I'm not in that bad of a spot anymore. And so I'm less bitter. And I just don't think there's any reason to hold on to it, and I won't hold on to it for anybody, for any image or anything. Not that I'm saying you guys would want me to or anything. I'm just saying I'm not going to do that because I care about the issue. So I think that's what I think about a lot as I'm losing too. I think about the activistic side. I think about proving the case of losing. I think about how important it is to continue to share it as it's occurring in real time. And I'm deeply grateful and humbled by the progress still. It's like, I can be of two minds sometimes. Sometimes I'm so relieved and happy that the toxic ritualistic mindsets in my mind are gone. And then I also feel anger towards fat acceptance for trying to popularize toxic ritualistic mindsets at the same time. But I'm trying to lean more into the happy side of it because I cannot believe I'm getting out of morbidity. Like, I'm really close. And I want to hold on to that progress. So I'm going to go ahead and pivot to what I'm going to do in the autumn. So as far as my strategy for autumn, I think it's incredibly important to get out of morbid obesity and stay out for the entirety of winter. Because that way, even if I don't continue to lose over the winter, I will at least maintain that size and recalibrate my health on a hormonal level and be ready to really launch next year. Because I would love to be out of obesity entirely by next summer. So I got a lot of herbs. I invested in some herbal supplements, a lot of which help lower estrogen and help balance testosterone, essentially. So it's a lot of herbs that lower estrogen, raise testosterone in me, because I think it's important to keep a stable mood during this time for a lot of different reasons. I don't want to get overly hungry. I don't want to unnecessarily piss off my audience, right? I don't want to sabotage any, romantic aspirations I have. I don't want to do any of these things. So I'm taking this time very seriously, and I don't want to regain any weight whatsoever. I don't want to sabotage my health goals either, at all, in any way, shape, or form. And part of not sabotaging yourself is setting yourself up for success. So this is a calculated decision to get these herbs now, because they will probably enable me to continue to lose or at least maintain throughout autumn, which is incredibly important, because staying out of morbid obesity will really help me in the spring. Absolutely. I also plan on continuing going to the gym year-round this year. I'm not planning on stopping the gym at all. So that's a major turning point. I have stopped, and I've gained every single autumn and winter, basically, or every autumn since I started this journey. So this year I'm going for gold. So I may be a little edgy. I may not be in the comments as much. It's not because I'm not happy with you guys or anything like that. I'm just trying to keep it somewhat serious in a sense of like, I'm just trying to, take in the feedback but not react to anything, if that makes sense. So I'm going to keep going with everything in that sense. So, yeah. The other thing that's happening is I'm still losing my hair. My hair is falling out constantly. It makes me nervous. It is definitely a trigger as well. But I'm accepting that there are many things in life we can't control. And I can't control that the weight loss is causing hair loss at this moment. There's nothing I can do. I'm not going to stop because of it. I'm going to just continue. What I did, though, is getting those herbs, balancing out estrogen and testosterone. It should help. I'm going to continue to focus on protein. I'm going to continue to avoid sugar due to nutrient reasons for as long as I can throughout autumn and hopefully winter as well. That being said, I am going to take probably a couple days with Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. So for those holidays, I probably will eat more on those days. As we do have more of a natural drive to eat more in autumn anyways, I'm going to try to just sequester it to those times. So it's okay if I don't lose a lot this autumn. I'm more concerned about gaining. I do not want to gain because weight loss is slower now. So if I gain, it's going to take longer to get it back off. So I'm just a little bit nervous about that. I'm going to do my best. All across the board, I will let you guys know how that goes. I'm kind of going for gold here. Okay, this is tough. So I'm going to definitely do my best. I think the herbs, they're pro-thyroid, all that stuff. I do think it will help with hunger. I've already noticed it. I started taking it yesterday. It definitely has stabilized my mood more and made me more, less hungry with the changing season. So I think I'm going to be okay. I'm fairly confident that I can do this time, but it does take planning, and I do acknowledge that it's ambitious, and I acknowledge that it's going to take a lot of work and grace and all these things to keep everything up in my life at the same time, so I'm a little nervous, but I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. I want to be successful in all areas, and I think that having that healthy relationship with ambition, that I think with my serotonin being fried or overstimulated or just weird, I don't know what the hell was wrong with it. I think it affected my ambition and made it more toxic, whereas now I think it's more healthy and present. I'm not overly lazy either. I've had a lot of years of being extremely lazy and unfocused, and I'm not. So I definitely will advocate for health all across the board. I think it affects every area of your life. I think it's incredibly important, and I'm getting healthier. So I'm sure the next time I do a health update, it will be because I'm out of morbid obesity. And that is a crazy milestone to think about because it's been a very long time. I've been morbidly obese since I was in 5th grade at least. So that's crazy to think about. But with that, you guys, I'm going to go. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, night, etc. I will see you guys later. Bye. Thank you for all your support.